Xabi Alonso has finally got to grips with this Real Madrid side and they're looking extremely strong. Following that 5-2 defeat against Athletic, where the game kind of ran away late on, probably wasn't a 5-2 game. They've bounced back, winning 6 on the trot, including a really good win against Valencia at the weekend, Barcelona in the El Clasico, and grafting out wins against Getafe, which is super difficult to play against. We'll have a video about that anti-football very, very soon. And also beating Juventus. Very pragmatic. We know that he likes to build up with this sort of like 3-2-5, but it's the pressing. He's managed to get the team pressing, working. Mbappe, Vinicius Jr., maybe not tremendous pressers, but have improved. Vinicius Jr. definitely helping out on the left-hand side and Mbappe doing more, which means when they're playing the games against like Barcelona, like they did a couple of weeks ago, they can press with this intensity right on screen right now. They can press high, hunt teams down, go and watch the first half. I'll leave a link down in the description to the highlights. Just go and watch how well they press. They did it as well against Valencia at the weekend, but they really went for it against Barcelona, a team that liked to build up for the back. Ended up making Szczesny go long a lot of the times. Super impressive. As you can see on screen as well, their pressing numbers have improved compared to the Real Madrid of 24-25 and 23-24. So they're on it. What are they doing out of possession? What are they doing in possession as well with the roles of Vinny and Mbappe and Bellingham and Correas, the new left back? We've got 2 tactics to show you today. The general Real Madrid that he likes to build up. And then I've got a little cheeky one as well to add in, which is the changes that he made for the Barcelona game in particular. All right, guys, let's get into it. As you can see, I've just done a simulation. I don't like to do them, but when I was kind of playing the tactic, I kind of played out the first 2 months of the season. I thought, ooh, all right, I'll just do a quick sim. Plugged in the tactic, the general Real Madrid tactic that I'll show you first. Let it go. We lost to Chelsea in the Champions League at quarterfinals, 4-3 and 2-0 disappointing. We lost to Girona on penalties in the final of the Copa del Rey, despite having like 20 odd shots. They had 3 shots on target and scored from 2, but league-wise, extremely well. Look, it's Real Madrid. It's a decent tactic in possession. 107 goals, which is good. Only 26 conceded, which is nice. Sometimes you have to give up that little yin and yang. Balancing it off doesn't always work, but it's balanced off really nice there, winning the La Liga by 8 points. Few little stats as well. Kylian Mbappe, 38 goals in 34 starts. Vinicius Jr., 25 goals and 22 assists from that left-hand side. More importantly, though, the boy that we're going to talk about, Arda Güler, he is 16 goals and 18 assists from centre midfield. And more probably disappointingly, right down here, Jude Bellingham, only 13 goal contributions during the season. But when your team's doing that well, maybe it doesn't stand out as much. All right, let's get into it. The main tactic is just a general kind of Real Madrid and what he's liking to do it in and out of possession. Now, in possession, like at Leverkusen, we know that they played this 3-4-3. Often looked like a 4-4-2 out of possession as well, but always built up with the back 3. Now, he's not really playing with a back 3 here. He's playing with generally with some sort of full back. You know, at the moment, it's been Valverde, and you would imagine it'll probably be at some point Trent when he gets himself fit. But the role of Correas. So if you look at these little positional pass maps from the games against Juventus and I think Valencia more recently, as you can see, he's tucking in a little bit more. There's a clear build-up structure of maybe a 3-2-5 or at times a 3-1-6, but he's tucking in as a third centre-back. And what's that allowing then to do is Vinicius Jr. out on this left-hand side being very much a 1v1. We're not trying to double up here. Vinny don't need any help. You know Mbappe is going to naturally drift to the left anyway from that centre role. So he's holding his shape. It's also a really good rest defence. I think a couple of the other teams, Barcelona at times are a little bit gung-ho. Bayern Munich as well have both fullbacks high. He's been a little bit more pragmatic, is Alonso. Pragmatic in a good way because they're still flooding bodies forward, but he's changing his tactics to get the better of the opponents, not to shut opponents out. Like the performance against Barca we're talking about in a bit wasn't defensive pragmatism. It was a really aggressive 4-2-4 out of possession. So pitch runs, the 2 tactics from today, General Madrid and Madrid versus Barca will be available for you to download. Don't worry, everyone else. We're going to talk about it generally now. And at the end of the video, we're going to go through all the little player tweaks. There's a couple of player tweaks, player instructions that we've changed, and also the team in and out of possession instructions as well. All right, link down in the description. So, generally, said, there's your back 3 that we're going to build up with Correas, Huijsen and Militao. I've put this one as a playmaking wing back because depending on who plays in front of him kind of changes this role. Now, I do think at times, and, you know, correct me if I'm wrong, when Trent gets himself fit, in some of the big games, I think we might see a little bit of that, you know. Valverde, because Bellingham, Güler and Tchouaméni are all better than Valverde for me. So, he's one of those players that will help the squad. And I think in big games, we may see this little role where he's helping out. Maybe Trent's allowed to go in there. Valverde's then giving the width and then tracking back. I think we'll see a little bit of that when Trent gets himself fit. I've gone with a playmaker. Allow him to go in there. I said on this side, it could be Valverde. It could be Diaz has played out there. Rodrigo's played out there. Cantuano, Jesus, has played out there as well at times. He's done a lot in the last few weeks. He's been kind of the favoured option apart from the game against Barcelona. So that is free for you to kind of change. And I've just kept it wide. There's no player instructions on that wide player as well. Don't do inside. You could maybe go wide forward because that would hold the width for you. But I've just gone winger, so the player just holds the width and allows Trent to kind of, we know the player's going to be focused down this left-hand side naturally with Vinny and Mbappe, Güler on this kind of edging towards this left-hand side. So it maybe just needs someone who can work hard and do defensive duties out of possession, maybe. Tchouaméni's a really interesting role. Sat in front of the back four, really good number 6, has finally got himself going in terms of the team. He's had a really good start to the season. Arda Güler has without doubt been the key kind of component to the team this season. During the Club World Cup, Güler was then introduced when they were struggling, I think, in the group games. As the kind of competition developed, he became a real key player, and we've dropped him exceptionally deep. It wasn't a number 10 role. We've got him in this midfield playmaking role now in possession with the main 3 in front. Bellingham, channel midfielder, because we know that he wants to drive, look for gaps to exploit gaps, drag defenders out, drag midfielders out. So we've got him there. Vinicius Jr., we've got him on the left-hand side, wide winger, because we want to kind of make the pitch as big as we can. If we look at this screenshot of how Real Madrid are attacking against Barcelona, you can see the ball's on this side, this near side with Valverde, but Vinicius Jr. is still keeping his width. So we're going to do that so he gets that 1v1. And then that also allows Mbappe, we've just got off centre, just to work in the left half space where we know that he prefers. And if we just then look at the visualise, you can see we've kind of got the back three there with Correas, Huijsen and Militao. We've got Trent. We've got the width holding with Valverde and Vinicius. So that could be Rodrigo. If you're playing against a team with a low block, I'd be putting a Rodrigo in there, really. Bellingham in behind Mbappe. Güler and Trent. Really good rest defence in there. Lovely ball players as well to keep possession of the ball. But then out of possession is where we're looking to make a difference. So we know that he wants to press high. So we've gone with this 4-1-4-1. The main reason is because of Tchouaméni. He said the game against Barcelona, they pressed in a 4-2-4. But we can't do a drop-in midfielder in this bit here. So we're going to start with the 4-1-4-1. Because we know in the latter stages of possession, Tchouaméni always follows like number 10s. He's quite happy to drop in and make a back 5 at times. So he'll only do that if we go to the visualise. I think it's key that you see this, that he only does it, and we're going to be covering it soon in a standalone video, the drop-in midfielder, because it is up there with one of my three favourite kind of in and out of possession roles of FM26 so far. He's in the back line. If we just move it up, look, he doesn't really move in there till the final third. So it's not as if he's going to sit in there straight away. But what they will do, the midfield too, Bellingham and Güler will press high. We've got Vinicius Jr. as that outlet. Now, it's important that we've got him out on this left-hand side here as a left midfielder rather than here. Because when he's a little bit higher, and I'm going to show you some really good clips of the position of Vinicius, when he's in this bank of 4 but still classed as an outlet, it's exactly what I want to see in a left winger. Coming in, tucking in, helping his midfield out, but also being in an area, and maybe not to dive and track, I don't want him in here. Let Correas deal with that. But I want him to be in an area where he can help his team out when the ball's on the other side of the pitch. Get a nice bank of 4 in and still being a really good key outlet. I'm going to be doing my massive video on my kind of football philosophy. It's 4-3-3. We've got a drop-in defensive midfielder and a wide outlet. And it does exactly what I want it to do, and I'll explain that later on in the video. And then the rest, we've got Mbappe, obviously, as the outlet, as well as a centre-forward. Now, the Barcelona game, the key thing was actually out of possession. So we're just going to change it up a little bit, get the shape right. So Valverde played at full-back. Camavinga came into the side and played almost this right midfielder out of possession. And then it was like a front two of Mbappe and Bellingham working together. But I would probably have Bellingham as the tracker. And then Güler and Tchouaméni. It was extremely aggressive, as you can see by the screenshots, to kind of stop Barcelona. Superb first half performance again. They had 3 or 4 goals disallowed in the game. They had a penalty overturned as well. They played extremely well with only having 32% of the ball. So really good work. We've also as well got Camavinga as a tracking winger just to help out a little bit. He was obviously in there for his defensive duties. And then as play progressed, it was then up to Valverde. So no more playmaking wing back. We've got more of a settled wing back now with Carreras as just a normal fullback, because I don't know what the reason behind it was. It's interesting. His position build-up was a little bit wider. I don't know if that was just to give more of a clear 4-4-2 or a 4-4-1-1 kind of structure. I'm not too sure. Tchouaméni's the disappointing one because out of possession, he pressed really high, so we can't do that drop in mid defender. He kind of did both. He pressed high, sort of. This is my only annoyance, that when we're out of possession, we can't have someone in here who would then naturally press and then drop in. It's maybe asking a little bit too much. I'm maybe getting a little bit niche for the Tchouaméni role, but he pressed, and then as play developed, he would then drop into here and look at marking the Barca number 10. That face, this guy, him. So, yeah, that was my only bugbear, but we've got it working really nice. We've made a couple of tweaks as well with this bank of four, the role of the right midfielder as well that we're going to talk about right now. Okay, the first clip is a really nice goal that we scored against Liverpool and just a clear structure of our build-up. So we have got our back three in possession. So Carreras inverted, Hoyston in the middle, Militao on this right-hand side, really good ball carrier Militao as well. We've got Tchouaméni just sat as a defensive midfielder. Then we've got Trent in Gula making a really nice playmaking double pivot. Gula's going to be that connector from defence to attack. Vinicius holding the width on the left. And then obviously we've got Mbappe, Bellingham and Valverde high and wide out of shot. As play develops, we're into the connector. You see Bellingham extremely high. We've got him as that channel midfielder, so we know that he's going to make runs like this. Mbappe's done a nice little bit of movement, not being tracked by the back four, so it allows him to turn, plays in Bellingham. This is what Bellingham is good at. And then Vinicius, even though he's on winger, comes in off that line and absolutely fires in a really good goal to kick off the game against Liverpool. Now, one of the issues we had with this 4-4-2 out of possession, as you can see, Valverde. Now, really, if we're pressing high, we really want him to be putting pressure on Robertson. But he's more bothered about Chiesa, which is disappointing. So we've done a little tweak. As you can see, he's there. And he's dropped right off. Where is he? He's not even in shot. He's right here, look, just out of shot. He then tries to come in and press. We do actually win the ball here, but he's more bothered about what's behind him. For me, I want him in there. And I think that's because we've got him in that right midfield, not right winger slot. So I did make a little tweak where, let's just watch the highlight finish. So as you can see, he drops off and he's kind of cutting out that pass. He gets it, but really I want him pressing on Robertson and then Trent coming in and marking the left winger, which should have been Chiesa. So we made a little tweak where we just went into the team instructions. I went to, trying to find it because it's FM26, went to team instructions, marking target. This is a little hack, look. You have to click it a couple of times and then eventually click that and you get this drop-down menu, which is really weird. Marking, we went to Robertson, the left back, and just see if that would help. So if you're going to press in that 4-4-2, it's super important that you're pressing with the wide players high. So at the same time, maybe just a little tweak. You don't really want that right midfielder sitting on the toes of that left winger. And then the clip, once we'd changed it, we then got this. So he's in there and now pressing. And then that allows, still not as high. So I do think maybe the way round it potentially would be to have Valverde as a winger maybe. And then have him maybe as a tracking winger. So he's going to press high and then drop straight back in. The only thing sometimes with a tracking winger is they drop in to be a right back. So you're going to have to play with that and watch the games and see how deep they drop as you go. And then once again, we forced the ball. Look at the high press. Like we should have won it in there. It was kind of magically went through someone's legs there. But the press is good. Intense, good. Look where Vinicius is now. Right in there helping out. This one's just a lovely goal that I thought we'd do. So you can see Carreras kind of half getting involved here, which he does at times. He sometimes drops into this inverted wing-back role, full-back role, which is good. We just keep ball. Rodriguez on for the injured Vinicius Jr. Mbappe's now gone out wide, and it eventually will go to the Frenchman. Here he is, off that line. Now, he is playing as a winger. Now, we have got, it's weirdly, because as the plays progress, we've got really narrow there. We have got, and we'll show you in the team instructions at the end, the width is as wide as it can be. So it's interesting, as players develop, we have got a few roam from position. You know, we're allowing players to roam from their natural positions, etc. So nice to see, once again, that wide player coming off the line, getting involved. What you would expect Vinicius Mbappe to do from that left-hand side. And then here, we just get a really nice snapshot of how the team is looking with the tactical cam. So once again, there's your fullback. We've now got Trent, who's just making that forward move into that sort of like double pivot alongside maybe Tchouaméni, or even into let's I imagine he's probably going to go into that little area there alongside Arda Güler. We haven't got shorter passing on. I think we've left it on standard, but we just move the ball really well. And then look, Valverde. Now, this is where, I think in big games, Valverde is going to be the guy. And then, in other games, it'll be a Rodrigo who holds the width on this side. Or this could even be the fullback. It could be the midfielder coming in, getting involved, maybe an inside winger, and then having the wing back extremely aggressive. Nice little effort, chance, but what we're seeing is there just a really cool build. If we just go back as well, we have got underlapping runs on, and it's Trent who is there, and he's going to watch, because we got a clip of it actually happening in the game against Barcelona. He's going to make that underlapping run in here. This is where we get the Bellinghams, we get Mbappes, we get, the midfielders, the playmaking wing back as well in terms of Trent this time going on the inside. So, the option is there to slip him in. Slip him in, pass, and then a big touch, pull back, goal. Look at them arrows. Beautiful. It never came, but on another time, and I'll show you a game against Barcelona, a clip against Barcelona when it does actually come, and it looks really good in the match engine. Now, in the game against Barcelona, we shaped up with this lineup here, so that Camavinga role for the first half to see how we'd get on, but we are keeping our eye on Vinicius Jr. Ball's been drifted out to that side. I'm just going to show you the movement that we get. So he's classed as an outlet, which we always kind of say, I always kind of call it cheat a little bit. If he was a winger in that AML slot, I think he would probably be somewhere here. Which when there's a drop of possession, he's right up against that right back there. I think it's a harder pass. Let's just say the ball breaks down, when it does. Him being where he is now sets us up so much better for the counter-attack. We're better structurally as well, because we've got a really nice narrow, compact 4-1-4-1. As you can see, 1, 2, 3, 4, all working together. And then as play progresses, so he's an outlet, look, but he's helping out. If the ball goes into the midfielder there, which I think could be Casado, he's ready to pounce on it. There's a turnover in possession, look, boof, right. If he was in this area here, potentially maybe a more dangerous pass maybe, but he has got cover. Either blocking it. Koundé as well, who's coming really narrow. I think if Vinicius Jr. was there, he may have held his run a little bit and gone back in. The position he's in now, I think it's super important. When you're counter-attacking, you always want to have a couple of safe passes first. Quicks, maybe short passes, bosh, get it off, and then we can counter-attack. And because of his space now that he's got, we know Yamal is not going to catch, he's more bothered about, Yamal here, look, he's more bothered about attacking. It then gives us the chance to connect a more simpler pass. And off he goes. I think he turns back, gets half tackle, comes back. But he's getting in, helping out. And that outlet role in that midfield is a role that I absolutely love. When I asked my wide players, when I coached in the summer, the 4-3-3, I was asking exactly the same. Can you pull in and be a wide player, but just tuck in that little half space there, and any balls that come out, could be a header from the back, could be a block, you're more likely to pick up the ball. And also, that first connecting pass, if I just bring it back a little bit, here, right, you've got more chance of getting hold of that ball now from that first connected pass. Let's just say it goes into Creus. Once again, you just got a nice little pass. And then the player that I had in mind of the wide areas have got so much pace and power that were playing in my the team that I coached in the summer, that they were able just to turn and just run and carry and counter-attack. So, yeah, wide outlet in that midfield. Absolutely loving it. For the game against Barcelona, he played with this, Creus playing very much a fullback. A little bit high for me. We haven't got him as a wing-back. He's just bog-standard fullback. He's right there, look. But the combination we get between him, Güler, and Vinicius is brilliant. So Vinicius has actually dropped deep for the ball this time as play progresses. Creus makes that lovely inside run to give space down the line for Vinicius to use if he wants. Drawn towards Vinny here. And then what's that's done there is leave that huge space in there. And all we needed was Güler to play a ball in, which he does. Vinicius gets in. Really good opportunity. Lovely strike just wide of the post. So really nice combination down that left-hand side. Midfield playmaker, fullback, and then winger. Absolutely love it. This is the best bit. I know FM26 has had a lot of criticism, and I totally agree with pretty much all of it. However, for me at the moment, I'm just doing these kind of things in my own time and watching the game, and it's absolutely superb. So if you're frustrated by the game, Don't play on key highlights. Don't simulate games. Get involved in the game and see what you can create. And the last one is just an underlapping run that we spoke about. So Camavinga is now playing as this wide central midfielder. He's over on that far side. We've got Militao, Huijsen, Correas. We've got Valverde playing as this sort of like fullback, playmaking fullback. And he's coming quite narrow this time. And as play progresses, look at the run he's now made. In that underlap. Go on, give him it. There he is. So he does give it at some time, depending on the situation. But I just thought I'd show you that little clip just to show you what can happen. Playmaking fullbacks, by the way. Absolutely superb. So back into the game. We're now going to go through all the team instructions, etc. So you can copy it into your game yourself. As I said, check out the Patreon. Like over 100 people supporting the channel and the content that I make. So yeah. In possession. Everything, if I don't mention any of the player instructions, that's because there isn't any. I haven't really tweaked too much with the player instructions, apart from, mainly the role of Vinicius. So, back four, goalkeeper first. Bog standard goalkeeper, Courtois, left as it is. Playmaking, wing back for Valverde. 2 ball-playing defenders. I would have, as an extra, for Militao, because he's a lot better at it. Also, because this side has a little bit more room. I would go into the instructions. And for him, I would do dribble more. He's a great ball carrier anyway, so I would have that on. I will save that for the Patreons. And with Huijsen as a partner, no extra instructions on him. Carreras, inverted fullback. Tchouaméni in possession, DM, with Gula as that, midfield playmaker? Remember, 16 goals and 18 assists from that area. Vinicius on the left with a few team instructions. So we've gone stay wider, cut inside with the ball, make more forward runs, run from position, shoot more often. A lot of instructions there on him, but I think that gives you the real Vinicius. Quite, start wide, roam in, like we saw with Mbappe's goal, cutting in for that first goal against Liverpool, shooting more, obviously. We know he's a little bit selfish, isn't he? Bellingham, channel midfielder, nothing else set for him. With this right-hand side, left free. Now, as I said, because you've got that playmaking wing back in here, I think it's important that you still keep the width here. So wherever you put, just have it as a winger. If it's, Diaz and you want him coming in, like if you start with an inside winger, which we did, they start in here and it makes the play so condensed. So I would start as a winger and allow them, like we're doing with Vinny, to run inside with the ball. Out of possession, 4-1-4-1, standard defenders, goalkeepers, dropping defensive midfielder for Tchouaméni. That outlet on that left-hand side, wide outlet for Vinny. 2 pressers for Bellingham and Gula in the middle with Camavinga. That ain't Camavinga, but the wide midfielder, wherever you've got, the Valverde, as I said, that wide midfielder. We did have that issue in and out of possession, remember? So your other choices are maybe to move it up so he presses that fullback a little bit more with maybe tracking winger, but I would just make sure he doesn't sit in here. I wonder does it do it in? Let's see where the tracking winger goes in the visualizer. Yeah, see? Don't really need that. I think at times, you watching the really big games in the Champions League, I think Valverde will do that, and he does do that. But generally, a lot of the time, I would maybe try and avoid it. So maybe just a bog standard winger. All right, if you want to get that press a little bit more. Other option is do what I did with the team instructions with the pressing, get them, both sides, Vinicius and Valverde, marking the 2 fullbacks. When they go in possession of it, they'll go and press. You can also put trigger presses on as well in the opposition instructions if you really want to force it. And we're going to do a deeper dive into out of possession kind of instructions at some point very soon. And then outlet for Mbappe on this side. Now, team instructions are exactly the same. And then with the game against Barca, couple of changes, by the way, I forgot to mention Mbappe, channel forward. But the changes we've made for this one is wing back and full back for the 2 fullback positions. And the only other change is Camavinga coming from that midfield winger's position to now come in as a wide central midfielder. And then out of possession looks a bit like that. All right, so we've now got Camavinga as this kind of tracking winger because this is what he did. It was very much set up for him, this role. Gula, Tchouaméni pressing, Vinicius on that wide. I've not put him as an outlet. I just wanted him to work and track and hopefully work a little bit harder. Worked quite hard, actually, in the Barca game. Bellingham is this kind of tracking midfielder with Mbappe going across to be more of that outlet. And team instructions are the same for both. So there you go. Standard, passing directness, higher tempo, counter-attacking, much wider, keep the ball in play, more expressive, play through in build-up, goal kick short, distribute centre-backs, supporting runs, underlaps both sides, And then everything else less blank apart from my discouraging shooting from distance at the moment because I've just found my team shooting a little bit too much in the beta. And then low crosses because Mbappe, Vinicius were not great in the air apart from maybe Bellingham. So yeah, them all left off. Out of possession, high press, much higher line, more often trigger press, counter press, get stuck in as well, trap outside, prevent shot distribution. Yes, make that goalkeeper go long for Huijsen and Militao to win. Tchouaméni in there to pick up them second balls. That is Real Madrid, Xabi Alonso. I hope you've enjoyed it. Let me know what you think to the video. Hope you enjoyed the concept of it and the ideas that I've put in. Really enjoyed making this one. FM26 is not all bad, you know, but you've got to get inside the game and play the bloody matches. All right, check out that Patreon. That'd be awesome. Take care. See you later.